I'm Genevieve, and I'll be presenting on my study titled Comparing Effects of Traditional and Technology-Enabled Training Methods on Job Performance Indicators of Police Recruits. Training programs need to establish progressive training opportunities to stay effective in the 21st century. However, while technology-based training presents organizations with exciting possibilities, the evaluation of new training modalities should not be neglected. This study aims to create a summary of current evidence and recommendations to improve the emerging practice of technology-enabled training within the home team. The scope of the study was localized towards training for police recruits and looked into relevant factors of training methods that affected job performance, in addition to comparing the effectiveness of these training methods. For the purposes of this study, training satisfaction, learning outcomes, and measures of training transfer have been used as proxies of job performance. A systematic literature review was conducted, whereby 18 studies met the inclusion criteria and were included in the review. Another method for data collection was a focus group discussion with trainers from the Home Team Academy. Discussion topics included recruits' training satisfaction, learning outcomes, and training of transfer of training during an online electronic learning period. So findings from both the literature review and focus group discussion were combined into three main data maps, which looked into factors concerning job training satisfaction, learning outcomes, and training transfer. A majority of the relevant studies observed higher satisfaction levels with tech-enabled training. And there were several common factors correlated with higher satisfaction of tech-enabled training. First, the training programs utilized a variety of learning materials, and training modalities also supported self-directed learning, provision of feedback, and interactive learning experiences. Conversely, a key factor that affected satisfaction was limited teacher-student interaction, with trainers from the focus group discussion echoing this sentiment. Another study also noted that long periods of online training affected engagement levels, which was observed by trainers in the Home Team Academy as well. Moving on to learning outcomes, most studies observed either better learning outcomes with technology-enabled training or no difference. So two common factors were correlated with better learning outcomes. First, training modalities supported feedback and correction, and the content covered generally consisted of short-term knowledge and niche skills. On the other hand, factors of suitability of training content was found to affect learning outcomes, and trainers in the focus group discussion similarly raised up the constraints of an online video conferencing platform in teaching skill-based courses. When looking at training transfer, results demonstrated higher levels of training transfer with tech-enabled training. Realistic virtual simulations of stresses during operations were found to lead to performance improvement in subsequent live exercises after simulation training. From the results gathered, recommendations were grouped according to these three main categories: course design, training content, and learner characteristics. Based on the findings, using blended methodologies as a delivery mode is recommended. At the same time, instructors should also ensure that student-to-student interaction and student-teacher interaction is incorporated within the training programs. And trainers should also use a variety of materials to increase learner engagement. To enhance learning outcomes and training transfer within tech-enabled training, trainers can also consider using shorter course durations and structure e-learning for introductory content courses before conducting residential training for subsequent procedural skills training. The next recommendations involve matching the training modality to training content. Knowledge-based courses may be more suited for e-learning, while physical or skill-based procedure courses like weapons handling may be more suited for face-to-face instruction. Findings from literature also suggested that training for complex and high-risk skills may be more suited for virtual reality simulation training, as it leads to higher instances of transfer to live operations. Finally, understanding the needs and capabilities of the intended audience is key towards the eventual learning success of the students. Understanding the educational profile and learning motivations of the intended audience can help trainers to pitch their training on a more personalized and appropriate level, giving trainees higher probability of online learning success. So this sums up my presentation, and feel free to email myself or Samantha if you have any questions. Thank you.